Hello, it's another Wednesday and I'm in the same car park that I was in this time last week, although it's a bit warmer today so I don't have my coat on. If you've got children, if you've worked with children, if you've ever been a child, then I'm sure you've heard the phrase, it's not fair. Children have a very keen sense of and a keen awareness of when they're not being treated fairly, whether it's that they are not being allowed to do something that their brother or sister was allowed to do when they were their age, or they've got a slightly smaller piece of chocolate cake, or they've got less ice cream than their brother or sister. In my experience, it tends to only work one way, in that you very rarely hear a child who will pipe up and say, it's not fair, I've got more chocolate cake, this person needs to have some of mine. It always tends to work when, or you tend to hear the it's not fair claim when someone feels that they're missing out and they're losing out. And on Sunday we were looking at the parable of the workers in the vineyard, where a guy employs a number of workers, employs them to start work at various points in the day, but at the end of the day they all get paid the same. And when you read that, you can understand why those who started work at 6 o'clock in the morning feel this is unfair. They've worked all day and yet they're getting the same amount of pay as someone who's only worked for 1 hour, whereas the guy that's only started work at 5 p.m. is amazed at the generosity of this employer, that he's paid him for a whole day's work and yet he's only worked for an hour, and that he would see that as being generous. And I guess whether we feel we're being treated unfairly or not depends very much on what we think we deserve. If we're getting what we deserve, that's fine, but if we're not getting what we deserve, then we feel we're being treated unfairly. Or if we feel we're not getting what everyone else is getting, we feel that we're being treated unfairly. And I guess when it comes to the way we feel towards God, one of the points that Jesus is trying to make in this parable is that how incredibly generous God is. We don't deserve anything. And God is incredibly generous towards us in all the things that he has given us, in his love for us, through Jesus' death for us, that God has done so much for us. He is incredibly generous. And that those times when we start to feel it's not fair, we just need to maybe just pause and to reflect on what God has done for us. The fact that we don't deserve anything, it's all a gift, it's all grace, it's all given to us because of God's love for us.